This DIY is sponsored by Skillshare. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. For those of you that are new, my name's Orly. I'm so freaking glad you're here. And for the rest of you, thanks for being here for another one. I love you. I appreciate you. I am gonna do a great DIY today that actually kind of got inspired by an Instagram post that I did. So I originally wanted to make an embellished blazer and I thought about just doing one. So I found a bunch that I really loved. I put up a slideshow of photos on my Instagram and was like, what do you like? I like them all, I need help. And everybody was divided. Everyone's like, I like this one and this one, I like this one and this one. So I thought, you know what? Why don't I just do a whole like embellished blazer trends 2020 video so that you guys can make whichever one, number one, works with the blazers you already own or the embellishments you can get your hands on or your personal style. What I would really recommend doing is actually starting with your embellishments first. Find the pieces that you like, that you think are gonna work on a blazer, and then go either look at your closet or go to your local thrift store and find something. I went to one of my favorite stores downtown here in the fashion district in downtown LA, and I got a ton of stuff. They sell it all, so everything is linked below. If the ones that you find at your local store you don't like, you can get the exact ones that I'm using today. Just go down to the description and find the materials, and everything will be linked for you. So I feel like we're kind of the same, right? We both really like to learn. That's why you're here, right? Right. So I'm really excited about today's sponsor because I feel like it couldn't be a better fit. This one's sponsored by Skillshare, and that is just the most perfect fit because it's all about like deepening your interests. Whatever interests you have, it's about like doing a deep dive and learning more or figuring out something new that you want to learn and having the flexibility and ability to do it at any time on your own schedule. So for me personally, I've been dying for the past like 5 years to learn how to use Adobe Photoshop and Illustrator. Anytime I want to do like some cool creative Photoshop on a picture and like change the background and do something fun, I pay someone to do it. Like I have the ideas very clear in my mind, but I don't have the technical skill to do it. I'm gonna take you guys along on my journey and show you how I do it, and I want you to do the same for me. So let me know which courses you're gonna do. The first 500 of you that click the link down below will get the same membership that I have, which is 2 months free. So I really recommend it. If you wanna learn something new, now is the perfect time. Click that link down below, only the first 500, get 2 months free. And for the rest of you, let's learn how to make these blazers materials. There are a couple that I've already made. So I did this really cool, I found this vintage at a thrift store, Giorgio Armani, not bad. So basically what I did is this trim comes with the satin ribbon. You're gonna take your trim, you're just gonna run it all the way around. Once you get to the other side, cut it, and then just do a second row. You want at least 2 rows to get a really nice full feather detail. You're just gonna hide it on the inside, whether you hand sew or glue. All right, so we're gonna start on today's blazers. Now, these 2 gold appliques I love. They come in silver also, again, linked below. And really, this is the design part. You wanna decide, do you like the way it looks with the rounded part in the front, both pointing towards the back, asymmetric? Just take a step back, look at it, and see what looks nice to you. To me, this is what I liked. I really liked how they came in a point in the back, and these rounded parts, I sort of scooched in a little. You can see I scooched them in so that they creep up into the collar, and that was so that I only had a tiny bit of overhang on my shoulder. Too much of an overhang, and I think it would have looked like a little 80s and kind of a bold, broad shoulder. So I sort of just creep them in a little bit. That way I only have the tiniest bit of overhang and pin everything down into place. You just want to take your time, pin it so that it looks good, take a step back, make sure it's even, double check everything. Once you're pinned, you're ready to start. Now we're using clear thread for pretty much all of these because obviously it disappears and it's not going to create that dull edge of a regular thread. When you start, you want to start by hiding your knot underneath the edge of the applique. So just grab just the little outer corner of your blazer fabric and then come up through the trim. Make sure that the applique itself is hiding the knot so you don't see it. Now you're just hand sewing the edges, and this is the most important part. You do not want to go all the way through the blazer and back out. You want to just grab the outer layer of your jacket, to the edge of the trim. So outer layer of the fabric, edge of the trim, outer layer of the fabric, edge of the trim. That way, when you look at the inside of the jacket, you're not seeing all these like zigzag stitches. So that's how you would hand sew it. If you want to glue it, what I recommend is keeping everything pinned into place and only lifting up certain tiny sections at a time. This way you're guaranteed that your applique is going to stay in exactly the place that you pinned it in. If you picked up the whole thing now, put glue on, and then laid it down, there's not a chance in hell you're gonna lay it down in the exact right spot. Another note with the glue is I would recommend either using a fresh bottle of Fabri-Tac for this, or if it's a little goopy, the one that you have, thin it out with a little bit of acetone so you can make really nice thin lines. You don't need a lot of glue. These appliques are super thin and lightweight, so just a tiny bit to tack it down. On areas like the shoulders, I recommend putting the glue and then popping in a little pin just so that it stays, again, like rounded. Once you do about 50% of it, you can now lift up the entire front and add glue to the whole front because you've already dictated the angle. You know, the entire back is in place. You can't really move it too much. So at this point, you can do larger sections at a time because when you lay it down, it's gonna go where you wanted it because the rest of the applique is already kind of like fastened in the right spot. Again, press down nice and firmly with your hands. A thin line of glue will ensure that you don't get any excess glue. And then you can go in there and just add a few pins so it stays in place. So here, just to review. Second one, you're gonna do the same thing. You're gonna lift up little sections at a time, adding nice thin lines of glue. Once you do the majority of it and come over the shoulder, you can lift up the entire section, do bigger sections at a time. Again, thin glue. That way when you press it down, nothing kind of excesses out. And now while it's drying, put it on a hanger if you can't keep it on your dress form so that it maintains its shape. Let's move on to the second one. Now these Purl appliques are so beautiful. Again, they're linked below. They come as a set, so they sort of mirror each other. So I was looking like, how do I want to do it? I thought, ooh, I could do like little angel wings on the back because they are mirrored. I could do them on the shoulders. And ultimately what I realized is that making it asymmetric made it look a little bit younger and fresher. When I had it all matched and perfectly even, it looked a little like old lady and dynasty. So I thought I'll have one on the shoulder, have the rounded part facing front. I'll have the other one, the rounded part facing in the back and actually creep forward more. And then I would put just one on the pocket. So once I had my design in place and I pinned it down, it was time to hand sew. Process here is exactly the same. You're just picking up the outer layer of your fabric and tacking it down. For this particular one, you want to make sure you go on the inside of that first row of pearls. You don't need to tack every pearl down. You can skip 3 or 4 at a time. Just make sure that you are going into that first row of pearls so that the edge is being tacked down. And all you need to worry about is the edge. You don't need to worry about the inside. If you are gluing it, we're gonna do the exact same thing. Lift up small sections at a time with a nice thin line of glue focusing on your edges, and then lay it down and press firmly so that it really adheses to the jacket. Once you do the majority of one side, you can get away with lifting up larger sections at a time. Something like this was easier because it's not as flexible, so there's really only one way for it to lay. So I realized I could actually glue much larger sections at a time than I could for the gold one, which could kind of move and twist on you. Again, press it down, pop a pin in if you want in certain areas that are lifting up. One thing I noticed too is with these appliques, before I started, I weighed them down with books so that they were perfectly flat by the morning, because sometimes they'll be kind of bent. Now, I looked at it and I was like, I kind of felt like I should have the pocket one maybe on the left side instead of the right, because you see how I've got more of the shoulder showing on the right side? I thought it would look too heavy to have the pocket there too. So I figured maybe swapping it would be better. So I put one on the left, took it off the right, took a look at it and was like, yes, that feels much more balanced. So when you are doing the pocket or anything that's on the flatter surface, not the shoulders, you can actually get away with just laying it flat on your table. The shoulders you really want to do on a dress form of some sort so that you have that shape to work with, but something like this, you don't have to do that. So you can see again, I'm just lifting up tiny corners at a time, adding it down, thin lines of glue all along the edges, and making sure to cover my old pocket. That was kind of my adjustment there, is just cover the pocket so you can't even see it. Now, just a random note, these appliques, if you're not using them for your jacket, they're so freaking cool. I think I might put them on these like baggy Levi jeans that I have. I could put them on the cuff or the pocket or the side. They could go on like the shoulder of a denim jacket, shoulder of a sweatshirt. They're just so cool and I highly recommend them.
I don't know, I was just playing around. Okay, let's move on to the next one. We're gonna do the red jacket. Now, for this red one, I found this amazing trim. Again, it's linked below. I got about 1.5 yards, and it's like this jewel tone rainbow thick trim. I thought maybe I'll do it on the pocket, maybe I'll put it on the cuff. I could do like a double cuff, and then I wussed out.
Change of plans. I really think that I just want this blazer plain. It's like I found it at a thrift store. It's Ellie Tahari, but still, it's like a really good classic red blazer. And I've been obsessed with Dylan Lex, all the photos where she like belts oversized blazers. I also am obsessed with this trim, and I kind of don't want to only use it one way. So I think I'm gonna do is I'm actually just gonna use this like a belt and belt this blazer with this trim. That way I can have it be like embellished when I want it to, but then when I don't, I can use this for something else. Make like a choker. I could do all sorts of things. So I'm gonna move this one off to the side, and you'll see at the end how kick-ass it looks just as a belt.
Oh, it's so cool. Okay, so we're on to our last one. Now, these little mesh panels I bought from Target Trimming also. It's nice just because you don't need to buy that full huge panel. You can just buy these smaller ones. I was just playing around with like, where do I want to put it, you know, the design process. And ultimately, I thought the cuff would be super cool. It's simple, it's not too in your face, and it just gives nice weight. So this particular trim, this particular panel fit my cuff perfectly. The dimensions will be on the website when you buy it, so you can see how long they are, if they'll fit your cuff as well. Now here's the issue. This is the silliest thing you've ever heard, but I wanted to use glue because I knew that that was gonna actually let the trim lay in the most like flattering way. My E6000 cap got permanently glued to my E6000 bottle with E6000. I mean, I tried pliers, I tried everything. I couldn't get the dang top off. So I ended up hand sewing it, but I really don't recommend doing this. If you are gonna hand sew it though, you're just gonna move all along the top edges, you know, in and out, just like normal. The most important thing is that you make sure that you pin it so that it's even, so that when your hand is down, it's nice, perfectly even, and they match and meet up at the end, you know, exactly where you want them to. So basically, I just went through and hand sewed it, kind of pulling on the jacket to make sure that it wasn't gathering or getting tight in any way. So do a few stitches, then sort of tug on your jacket. And then when you're done, you're just going to create a knot. So to do a knot, pick up a tiny piece of fabric, go in through, and before you complete the stitch, put the needle through the loop. Again, you do it one more time, a stitch, put the needle through the loop before you pull it tight, pull tight, and now you've created a knot. And now you can see it kind of hangs because we didn't actually adhese the bottom, we only did the top. And we're done. Yowza!
Okay, so we're done. Now, obviously you can see you can hand sew or glue pretty much all of them. Fabri-Tac is gonna work for anything that has a fabric backing to it. The metal trims, you can't use that for. So you need to make sure that you're using either like a gem tack or an E6000. After having done it, I actually think that the chain mesh one would be better glued around the top just because I feel like you can actually see the like indent. So if I could do this one over again, I would have actually just done a nice thin piece of glue on the top. Obviously though, it does make it permanent, so you're gonna wanna do it to one that you're not planning on reversing. The benefit to this one is the fact that they will totally work in a glammed up setting. You could wear these to like a wedding or an event. You could also wear them with like ripped up jeans and a t-shirt. They're gonna look awesome no matter what. I hope that you guys liked this video. If you did, please hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Click notifications so you are getting notifications when I have a new video. And if you think someone might enjoy this, send it to them. Share this sucker. All right, guys, let's do it. I will see you next week. Thanks for being here. Bye.
I've been waiting all my life for something. I've been down the darkest roads and up in the clouds, but I've always felt that something's missing. That was until I found you right there in the crowd. You came into my life and started a fire. You made me feel like I could touch the sky. Oh, there's nothing missing now that you're my desire. Now all I have to do is to make you mine. 'Cause I know, and you know what we could be. Like a song, like a perfect melody. Baby, don't say you don't believe in me, 'cause you know, and I know we're onto something good. You know, and I know we got something good. We got something good. spark in the dark. You came into my life and started a fire. You made me feel like I could touch the sky. Oh, there's nothing missing now that you're my desire. Now all I have to do is to make you mine. 'Cause I know, and you know what we could be. Like a song, like a perfect melody. Baby, don't say you don't.